Hello, this is Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today I have with me a special guest. She is Michelle Keeley and she is with Kensington Tours. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Rick. Thanks for having me on this sunny day. I think it's like almost 100 degrees here just north of Tampa, Florida. So I'm glad I have air conditioning.
I agree. We've had some very warm days recently. So I want
Yeah,
to start off by talking about the company that you are privileged to work for, because maybe not a lot of people know who they are, Kensington Tours. So maybe you could give us a history about how long they've been around and where they got started and what their specialty is.
sure. We always joke internally here. Excuse me. Kensington Tours is like the best kept secret because we're traditionally not a household name. We work closely with you, travel advisors, to do customized itineraries. So we're about just less than 15 years old. We're privately held, but we're US bonded, and secured and insured and all of that. And our owner who started this business, I'll just give you a little history of it because it's quite interesting, especially for me who's been in the industry for over 30 years. He actually grew up in Africa. His parents were missionaries, so he grew up in the Congo and with very humble upbringing, part of the time no running water, 7 brothers and sisters, so very humble. And as an adult, became educated, sold his first company to Microsoft. And through that, he started traveling all over. He started booking travel for himself, his friends, and his family. And he was really looking for this concept of putting technology with itineraries and customization all together. And at that point, literally at his kitchen table with his brother-in-law, he created Kensington Tours. Started originally in Africa, now go to over 20 countries alone in Africa, and now expanded all the way to over 100 countries over the globe with that. And we just launched this year, which we think is perfect timing, is the US and Canada. So we've got some private customized touring there, which I can talk a little bit more about. And also in Canada, Alaska's trending a lot for us as well. And then we've also started our yacht program as well, private customized yachts on that. And it's an interesting concept. It's great timing for social distancing. Price point, it is considered luxury. You have your private chef, your private staff, but price point isn't as out there as you may think. We can do private yachts from 6 to 12 all over the country, whether it's the Bahamas or Caribbean, Europe, Asia, what have you. We can create to exactly what your clients are looking for, or you're looking for. I'm sorry, I'm used to talking to travel advisors.
Oh, that's awesome. So large breadth of product offering, but you said 30 years in travel? What have you been doing for those 30 years?
Yeah, I kind of graduated college with a marketing degree and went and said, I want to work on a cruise line, which never actually made it on a cruise ship, but worked for a few cruise lines. Started my career in the mid 80s, Norwegian Cruise Line. Then I graduated up to Silver Sea Cruises, which is luxury. When they first launched, they were really the first all-suite, all-balcony cruise line out there. And then was with Regent Seven Seas Cruises, another luxury line, for 14 years before relocating from South Florida up to the Tampa area. But you may hear it in my voice a little bit. I am originally from upstate New York. My dad still lives in Rhinebeck, Poughkeepsie, Hudson Valley area, for any of you. I'm originally from that. A lot of snowbirds come down to Florida here. So yeah, so I had a great career, always pretty much been on the supplier side. So I've seen a lot. And really being introduced to Kensington Tours, which I've been with them for 4 years now, was a little bit different concept. But what I love about it is the customization. And we are premium to luxury. We work with most budgets, but the great thing about it is you really handpick exactly what you want. If you're going to Europe and you want to spend more time maybe going to a village where your ancestors are from, or doing off the beaten path, we tailor it to exactly what you're looking for on that spectrum. Even when you're en route, you're working with your travel advisor and our appointed destination expert who's experienced in that region. And we qualify exactly what you're looking for. If you want a full pack of itineraries and touring, or if you want to take the afternoon off. We also, with Private Customize, you have the flexibility to change in routes. So let's say you're a bit more jet lagged than you thought you would be and you want to just relax in the afternoon, or the weather isn't what it should be when you were going to do some outdoor, touring. The guide has the flexibility to adjust that with you and do all that.
So you mentioned luxury, you mentioned customization. Is there anything else about Kensington that sets you apart from the others?
Yeah, I think what we have, when we are Private Customize, we are Private Customize with your own driver, personal guide, or driver/guide, depending on the destination. What I would say, when you're looking at itineraries, there are others out there that may say Private Customize and it's a semi-share, meaning you may get on a small bus with a few other people. There are rare cases that we may do that for you, but it's all about price point to do that point. Another thing that we proactively, as soon as, of course, COVID hit in March, we all took a step back. Our executive team went back to see everything we can do, creating new policies, which is Book with Confidence, and I could talk a little bit more about that. And also being what we're calling our new COVID readiness in our company, where we are working with all of our partners across the globe to make sure that the standards of sanitation, did I say that wrong? Cleanliness for your comfort when you arrive. We're monitoring every country, what's opening, what the requirements are. I know there's a lot of clients right now that are eager to get going, but are a little bit fearful. Like, they don't want to be quarantined en route. They don't want to be quarantined when they return. So we're going to have all that information for you. And then, if you're ready to go, actually just had a booking. They're traveling next month, but they only have 6. And they were like, they're just, I guess, being cooped up with a family and a house. You're just ready to take holiday. But we do have our Book with Confidence program, which I can talk a little bit more about, Rick, if you want me to get into that.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. So we just launched it. For any new booking, it's now until July 31st. And there's a good chance it may be extended again. For anytime travel for 2020 or 2021, the Book with Confidence is, if you need to change for any reason, you are totally covered. We will transfer it and move it to another date. If you book your air with us, we work with all the major carriers. It would be the same policy as well. So if you're ready and interested in going, or want to start getting some information and work with Rick, we can send you some quotes, customized quotes, to see what's out there and what's available. And we will tell you, what is going on and when the countries are going to be opening. But if, God forbid, something happens when we get closer to that travel date and you're not comfortable, we're able to change that. No cost or, no penalties to you at all.
Sure. Well, thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned earlier a couple of new destinations that you're doing. So why don't we just spend a few minutes talking about what is trending new in travel for destinations, because I believe that the destinations are going to be king for the next little while.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you always see, if some of the travel magazines, they start saying the top 10 or the hidden secrets, and then our phone starts ringing. But it was interesting in April, and I can't really put my finger on the reason why. It seemed like we were getting more inquiries for Egypt. in the Middle East, which was kind of odd, but maybe it's perceived as more off the beaten path and a little bit more reserved. But lately, now May and June, we're seeing a lot more US and Canada. I think last week alone had probably over 5 brand new quotes for Alaska. And it may just be that because the cruise lines aren't going there currently, and it's a bucket list, or it's on the list for many clients. And Alaska is a great country or state that you can do that you don't need to do on a cruise. You can do a land, and there's so many great things to do and see. So we've seen a spike in that. We've seen a real spike in national parks. I will tell you, we are private customized in national parks, and the parks, they are opening, but there's a lot more restrictions, even limiting the number in the parking lot. They're not allowing the big buses in there. So if it is something that, you're interested in going this summer or in the fall or even next year, I would look into that as well. Like I said, we do private customized. We're working with the park. So the worst thing is if you do a self-drive, you get in there and they don't allow you in there because they're at capacity. So that's something that we offer as well. And we have seen a spike in that. And then yachts, as I mentioned, we're getting a lot of inquiries on the yachts. We have over 500 different type of yachts, from holding 6 to 12 guests. Catamarans, which is a bit more casual. We are doing more in the Bahamas. We didn't normally do Bahamas and Caribbean as much, but we're seeing more. So what we see trending, and just talking to some of the clients, is that maybe perhaps they were used to doing a suite on a Royal Caribbean or even a Crystal with a family, multi-generational family, and now they're more interested in social distancing. So the yacht program could be a good fit for those. It's something you could follow up with Rick. We can get you a quote if that's something that you're interested in doing.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I've said, fairly often that for even a larger family that wanted to do a great family reunion or family type vacation, you could always rent 2 yachts and just,
Hey, that works.
so
Yeah.
that would be an awesome
Yeah.
vacation. And
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, let's go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I'm a little ADD in my head sometimes. But as we were chatting, you made me think, even with clients that are, cruising, and I know probably a lot have, future travel for next year. Another program that we do, and I always say we are a great complement with cruises, especially with my background working on the cruise lines. We can do all the private guided touring when you're on the cruises. And I think that's so much more important now than it ever was before, because you get off the ship, we work closely with the ship, you get off the ship, you have your private guided there. So you're going off to do what you want to do. The price point is pretty similar to what you may pay on board when you're, going on a tour with 30, 50 other people. And this is true social distancing. So this may be something for cruise clients that are ready to cruise again next year. We could do the tours for them.
Sure. And for somebody that would be coming to Kensington for the very first time to have travel planned, what are 1 or 2 you could share with them that they could really expect from Kensington that they might be surprised to know?
Okay, so you cut off a little bit. Just say that one more time.
If somebody was coming to Kensington for the very first time, what are 1 or 2 things that they might be surprised about their experience that they wouldn't have known?
Okay. So yeah, like I said, we're like the best kept secret. And I know there's others out there. We always say friendly competitors, but because we are truly customized, and right now we have about 160 destination experts. And when I say experts, they truly are experienced in the destination they represent, meaning they're either originally from that region or have lived or studied there. And I always point that out because it's important for the client, especially if they're going to a destination for the first time, or maybe they went to Europe a couple of times on a cruise, and now they want to go on land and they want to really venture in and see what they have to offer. Our expert will work with you, Rick, and the clients to get on a three-way call and really go through the itinerary and pick out what's most important to the client. You know, if they're passionate about cooking, we have a lot of culinary, you know, cooking classes, whether it's in a Tuscany home or small groups, things like that. We tailor it to exactly what they want. Over the last couple of years, we've been the go-to for multi-generational family groups because we do have a lot of family-friendly properties, and we have the flexibility that if the younger adults and children want to go off and do something more adventurous, maybe the elders want to go back to the resort and relax, we can do that. We handpick our guide to be family-friendly, especially if there's younger children. And again, with the COVID-19, our new program of COVID readiness, we're mandating, obviously sounds like a harsh word, but we're requiring all of our partners to be up to the proper standards. So rest assured, as soon as you know, you get off the plane and you have our guide right there with your name there to take your luggage to escort you, they're going to have everything there. The vehicles, the sedans or Mercedes, depending on the location, is going to be all sanitized. Gloves, masks, everything will be at your disposal if you want. It's a comfort level of what the clients want and what's required.
Sure. And so we're going to finish off with this question. It's my bonus question. What is your favorite itinerary?
Oh, gosh. It's kind of interesting because fortunately, you know, being in the business, I have gone to a lot of wonderful places. And I feel like I want to say like my favorite itinerary is the one I haven't gone to. And I will say just a couple of things. Well, I will say Ireland was my favorite because that's where I did get engaged. I'm now married. We went to Dublin and we took a tour at all the castles. It was fabulous. It was probably, you know, 13 years ago now. But I will tell you, as I'm talking to you here, I am supposed to be in Australia. My flight was supposed to depart on the 23rd, and my husband and I were going to do Australia, New Zealand, which I have not been there yet. So currently that's my favorite because I haven't been there yet. And I held out to the very, very end because I kept thinking this was going to pass. But that's my favorite at the moment. Another one I really loved was Iceland. I did Iceland and Greenland. And really, you can go for the Northern Lights, but any time of year is a great time to go. And I guess the older I get, I like more of a casual one where you can just wear comfortable clothes, some layers. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. Walk at your leisure. So those are, I'd say my top is Ireland, Iceland, and of course Australia, New Zealand, which hopefully next time we chat, I have gone. So we're holding out for that.
Sure. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and thank you for being with us today on Beyond Your Front Door, and we'll look forward to having you back again. If anybody has any questions, they can call me at 888-332-8202, or they can visit saltybreezecruiseplanners.com.